Hello everyone. Today we will talk about persuasive messages. Credibility plays a crucial role in business communications, especially in persuasive messaging, which aims to connect with an audience that may hold opposing views. When credibility is questioned, the audience is less likely to engage with the message, making persuasion increasingly challenging in today's environment characterized by skepticism and mistrust. Michael Maslansky, a leading expert in corporate communications, refers to this as the post-trust era, PTE. In this era, traditional methods of communication that once fostered trust are ineffective, as the general sentiment has shifted towards skepticism. Maslansky's research, based on interviews across multiple countries, highlights the growing importance of trust-driven language in persuasion. As strategies that once worked for persuasion lose their effectiveness, it's essential to explore new approaches that resonate within the current context. The chapter aims to outline effective persuasive writing principles and strategies that align with the challenges posed by the PTE. Applying the AIM planning process to persuasive messages. The AIM, audience, information, message, planning process is essential for crafting effective persuasive communications. It emphasizes thorough planning and understanding of various elements to create messages that resonate with the audience. 1. Understanding your audience. To successfully persuade someone, you must understand their needs, values, and the factors that influence their opinions. Communication expert Liz Simpson highlights that effective persuasion requires a deep commitment to understanding both your own position and the perspectives of others. This empathy allows you to develop compelling arguments that align with the audience's interests. 2. Gathering relevant information. Effective communication involves extensive research and information gathering about the audience and the business issues at hand. This means taking the time to learn about your audience's hopes, expectations, and potential resistance to your message. Understanding these aspects positions you to present your ideas in a beneficial way. 3. Developing the message. When crafting your persuasive message, it should demonstrate that your ideas align with the audience's needs and values. This means identifying whether your approach should be logical, focusing on facts and data, or emotional, appealing to feelings and shared experiences. 4. Appeals to shared purpose and values. In collaborative work environments, individuals are often motivated by a sense of belonging and shared objectives. Persuasive messages that highlight these shared purposes can enhance credibility and foster cooperation. However, it's important to use these appeals judiciously. Overuse may lead to perceptions of insincerity. 5. Showing appreciation and need. Expressing appreciation for colleagues' efforts and making them feel needed can significantly influence their willingness to support your ideas. Compliments and acknowledgments create goodwill and encourage reciprocity, enhancing the effectiveness of your persuasive messages. Understand methods of influence. Dr. Robert Cialdini, a renowned marketing psychologist, has dedicated his career to understanding the mechanisms of influence in business and marketing. He has authored 6 key principles of persuasion that can be employed to effectively motivate individuals to agree with ideas or take certain actions. These principles extend beyond pricing and product quality, focusing instead on psychological factors that affect decision-making. Okay. Now the question we have is, what are the 6 principles of persuasion? Reciprocation. This principle hinges on the idea that people feel obligated to return favors. For example, Cialdini conducted a study where he sent Christmas cards to strangers, prompting many to send cards back, even without knowing him. In a practical application, Hannes utilizes this principle by highlighting a long-standing partnership between the credit union and a local breast cancer center, creating a sense of mutual benefit. The credit union engages the community and offers incentives, like free items, to encourage participation in their fundraising efforts. Consistency. The principle of consistency asserts that once people commit to something, they are more likely to follow through. Cialdini's research indicates that making a commitment strengthens belief in that commitment. Hannes encourages this by emphasizing the credit union's long-term dedication to breast cancer advocacy and providing links for immediate registration for the walkathon, facilitating an easy way for members to commit. Social proof. People often look to others' actions to determine what's correct or desirable, known as social proof. Hannes leverages this principle by referencing successful past participation in the walkathon, thereby suggesting that joining is a socially supported and good decision. The imagery of a large group participating reinforces this notion. Liking. Individuals are more easily persuaded by those they like. Hannes appeals to this principle by featuring Betty Williams, a well-known breast cancer survivor and community member. Her familiarity and positive reputation enhance the persuasive power of the message, making participation more appealing to potential walkers. Authority. People are inclined to follow authority figures. Although Hannes doesn't use a national celebrity, she includes Betty Williams as a local authority figure who embodies credibility due to her experiences and involvement in the community. Additionally, support for the Betty Williams Breast Center emphasizes expert authority on the subject. Scarcity. The scarcity principle suggests that people are motivated to act when they perceive something is limited. Hannes incorporates this by indicating the walkathon happens only once a year and includes registration deadlines, prompting immediate action from potential participants. Persuade through emotion and reason. In business communication, decisions are often grounded in logical reasoning. However, effective communicators recognize that emotion plays a crucial role in persuasion. While sound ideas are essential, many decisions, particularly those related to products and services, are influenced by emotional attachments and perceptions. Competitors may also have a strong emotional grip on audiences, and savvy communicators find ways to tap into these emotional connections to bolster their arguments. The importance of emotional appeals. Emotional resonance. Understanding the core emotional benefits of products, services, or ideas is key. Audiences are not only swayed by what a product does, but also by how it makes them feel. Effective communicators identify and highlight these emotional connections. Inspiration in internal communication. As Craig Conway, former president and CEO of PeopleSoft, articulated, strong communication is vital for inspiring employees. When leaders communicate a compelling vision, they create a sense of belonging and purpose, which motivates people to align with organizational goals. Need for balance. While internal messages often lean towards logical reasoning, external messages typically harness emotional appeals unless they focus purely on price. Business communicators should strive to find an appropriate balance between logical and emotional arguments, often emphasizing one over the other based on the context and audience. Tone and delivery. It's vital to avoid the overly dramatic tone found in mass advertising. While emotional appeals can be effective, they should not come across as exaggerated or insincere. Genuine emotional connections are more persuasive than gimmicky tactics. Gathering the right information. The foundation of effective persuasive messaging relies heavily on thorough research and understanding. Here's why it's crucial. Establishing credibility. To persuade an audience that is likely resistant to your message, you must first establish yourself as credible. This involves demonstrating a strong grasp of the subject matter and showcasing your competence. Understanding benefits and drawbacks. It's essential to have an in-depth understanding of the benefits and drawbacks of your ideas, products, or services. This means not only knowing what makes them advantageous, but also being aware of potential limitations. Analysis of competing ideas. A competent communicator also studies competing products, services, and ideas. By understanding the landscape, you can position your arguments more effectively. For instance, Christine and Hannes spend time researching strategies used by other credit unions and analyze their offerings against local banks to ensure they highlight their credit union's strengths. Researching relevant context. In specific initiatives, like promoting the Hope Walkathon, it's crucial to understand the broader context and impact of participation. This knowledge allows communicators to explain the significance of their message in a compelling way. Setting up the message. When it comes to crafting persuasive messages, the approach differs somewhat from standard business writing. Direct and explicit writing. Most business writing is straightforward, presenting the main idea up front and supporting it with clear reasons. This directness shows respect for the reader's time and enhances understanding. Indirect and implicit approaches. Persuasive messages might be structured more indirectly. They often present rationales before making specific requests and may not state the request outright, requiring the reader to infer some points. This can help maintain politeness and engage the audience more effectively. Rationale before request. By providing a context or rationale first, you can prepare the reader for the upcoming request and make it more relatable. Implication of requests. In some cases, the request is suggested rather than stated plainly, inviting the audience to consider the change in opinion or behavior more naturally. Sensitivity in communication. It's important to be cautious and respectful about how certain benefits are discussed, especially regarding financial or career gains in internal communications. Explicitly stating personal gain can come off as self-serving, so it's often best to imply those benefits diplomatically. Gaining attention. To capture your audience's interest, employ various strategies. Rhetorical questions. Pose questions that stimulate thought and engagement. Compelling facts or statistics. Present interesting or surprising data that piques curiosity. Challenges. Issue a challenge that prompts the audience to reconsider their stance. Testimonials. Include endorsements from credible individuals to build trust. In internal messages, emphasize a clear business need, a gap between the current state and a desired outcome. You have greater flexibility in external communication to choose attention-getting methods. Need, solution, and rationale. Identifying needs. The core task is to connect your product, service, or idea to the audience's needs. Demonstrating that your message addresses these needs can significantly reduce residual skepticism. State the need. Clearly outline the requirement or problem that your audience faces. Present your solution. Describe your recommendation and how it addresses the identified need. Provide a strong rationale. Offer compelling reasons that illustrate the benefits of your solution to build trust and persuade skeptics. Validation. Demonstrate appreciation for your audience's views, preferences, and concerns. Validation shows that you recognize their feelings as legitimate and respect their perspectives, especially if they differ from your own. This approach fosters a sense of respect and balance within your message. Counterpoints and objections. In traditional messaging, counterpoints were used to refute objections by proving your ideas superior. However, this confrontational stance can backfire in the current environment of mistrust. Instead, adopting a validation approach involves acknowledging and respecting the audience's concerns. This strategy helps build rapport and may lead to greater acceptance of your persuasive message. Michael Maslansky suggests that modern sales tactics focus on agreeing with objections, thus demonstrating respect for the audience's feelings without invalidating their concerns. When validating instead of countering, there tends to be a more collaborative atmosphere, ultimately making your arguments more compelling. Action. Conclude your persuasive message with a clear call to action. This could involve asking readers to take specific steps toward embracing your idea or purchasing a product. Tone of the call to action. Avoid aggressive selling tactics. They tend to be ineffective in today's environment. Explicit versus implicit calls to action. In external messages, the call to action should be clear and direct. In internal communications, particularly around sensitive or controversial changes, the call may be more subtle, aligning with the organizational culture and hierarchy. Crafting effective persuasive messages. Tone, personalization, and language. The tone for persuasive messages should strike a balance between confidence and positivity while avoiding exaggeration or hype. Finding this equilibrium can be challenging. Too much confidence may come off as pushy, while too little can render your message weak or uninviting. To achieve the right tone, it's beneficial to seek feedback from colleagues who can review the message and ensure that you maintain an appropriate level of confidence without appearing insincere. Additionally, using action-oriented and lively language will engage your readers effectively while also steering clear of excess enthusiasm that could lead to disbelief. Creating a personal connection significantly enhances persuasion. For example, a property owner chose a developer solely based on a handwritten thank you note, illustrating the profound impact of personal appreciation. To foster this connection in your communications, it's essential to understand your audience's specific needs and demonstrate genuine interest in addressing them. Choosing the right voice is also crucial. Employing a you voice can be particularly effective in external messages as it directly focuses on the benefits for the audience. In contrast, a we voice might shift the focus away from the customer, making them feel less prioritized. Additionally, making your statements tangible is vital for ensuring that your messages resonate on a personal level. By combining the you voice with specific details, you can create statements that your audience can easily relate to, helping them understand the impact on their lives. In persuasive writing, you also have more freedom to be creative. Utilizing strong verbs and nouns adds excitement to your message, while consistently focusing on a central theme helps maintain clarity and coherence. Confidence in your communication is another key element. When you express certainty in your ideas, products, or services, you increase the likelihood that your audience will feel confident in your proposals as well. It's also essential to recognize key players in internal communications, highlighting their strengths to reinforce the credibility and importance of your message. Show positivity in persuasive messages. Positivity in persuasive messages is crucial as it directs your audience's attention towards the benefits of what you are promoting, rather than focusing on potential drawbacks. Research by Michael Maslansky and his team illustrates that subtle shifts to more positive wording significantly enhance persuasiveness. For example, when consumers were presented with different phrases related to investment options, they overwhelmingly preferred statements emphasizing security and lifestyle maintenance over those that focused on risk management. In the first pair of statements, 90% of consumers found the phrase, "making sure you have enough money as long as you live," to be more effective than managing longevity risk. This indicates a strong preference for messages that highlight benefits, specifically achieving long-term financial security. Similarly, in the second pair, 81% recommended making sure you can afford to maintain your lifestyle over managing inflation risk. Here again, the focus on lifestyle maintenance proved to be more compelling than discussing potential financial drawbacks. The results were consistent in a third example, where 63% of participants favored making sure you can participate in the gains while reducing your downside risk over managing market risk. This case demonstrates how consumers were positively influenced by benefit-oriented phrases even when discussing potential risks, indicating that the context of gains can effectively mitigate concerns. Moreover, while positivity is vital, it is equally important to avoid superlatives, which often come across as inauthentic. Phrases like "best product on the market" or "state-of-the-art technology" may sound hollow and fail to persuade skeptical audiences. Maslansky's research suggests that alternatives like "comfortable retirement" instead of "dream retirement," "protection" rather than "guarantee," and "financial security" instead of "financial freedom" resonate much better with consumers. These terms appear more credible, enabling a rational argument without exaggeration. Consumers today often perceive too good to be true statements as lacking integrity. Such phrases can create an impression of bias, undermining the communicator's credibility. Highlighting effective phrases versus ineffective ones can be illustrated in comparative tables that showcase Hannes's projects, emphasizing the importance of sincerity and realism in persuasive messaging. By focusing on positive wording and avoiding exaggeration, communicators can foster trust and increase the effectiveness of their persuasive efforts. Creating internal persuasive messages. Internal and external persuasive messages share several common elements, such as gaining attention, raising a need, delivering a solution, providing rationale, acknowledging differing opinions, presenting counterpoints, and issuing a call to action. However, they differ in several significant ways. Internal messages often focus on promoting ideas, while external messages typically prioritize products and services. Furthermore, internal communications tend to be more direct and explicit, relying more on logical appeals, whereas external messages are often more indirect and emotionally driven. Influencing a superior. When seeking to influence supervisors or other superiors, it's essential to craft a convincing message. For instance, when Christine asked Hannes to prepare a plan to attract younger members to the credit union, she advised Hannes to email the report for her to forward to the executive team. Knowing that some team members would be naysayers, Christine emphasized the importance of being prepared to address their questions. In less effective communications, such as those that lack confidence and specificity, the presenter often appears dull and non-committal. Conversely, a more effective approach starts with a clear business problem and articulates ideas with conviction while concluding with actionable steps. This method paves the way for constructive dialogues when meeting with the executive team. Influencing employees. When calling on employees to volunteer as mentors for new hires, the tone of the communication is critical. In a less effective example, Christine may come across as demanding and bossy, which could alienate her employees. Leaders who fail to offer choices, portray issues too negatively, or disregard valid concerns risk losing the engagement of their team. In contrast, a more effective message would present options, appeal to shared objectives, offer a positive vision, and validate employees' concerns about time commitments. Although the message may seem straightforward, presenting it sincerely can inspire a greater number of employees to volunteer, as they are likely to perceive Christine as credible and relatable. Taking initiative and understanding decision-making styles. Persuasion is often a lengthy process, requiring both initiative and persistence. It typically involves multiple conversations and various written communications. Successful persuasion necessitates courage to initiate discussions and determination to secure others' commitment. According to businessman Andy Kessler, persuasion often takes at least 5 interactions with decision-makers, demonstrating the importance of viewing it as a process with distinct stages: the sniff, story, data, ask, and close. Effective persuaders also recognize that decision-making styles can vary significantly among executives. Research by Gary Williams and Robert Miller categorizes decision-makers into 5 primary types: charismatics, thinkers, skeptics, followers, and controllers. Understanding these styles is crucial because a significant portion of persuasion attempts may not align with the decision-makers' preferred approaches. Followers value past successes and are risk-averse. To persuade them, one should reference successful precedents and testimonials. Charismatics respond to enthusiasm, but often make decisions based on initial excitement. They prefer clear, straightforward arguments that highlight benefits. Skeptics are naturally critical and require established credibility. Aligning oneself with someone they trust can be an effective strategy. Thinkers favor data-driven decisions and take time to analyze all perspectives. They require comprehensive information to reach a conclusion. Controllers dislike uncertainty and prefer structured data. They should be presented with information in a way that allows them to draw their own conclusions without feeling pressured. By tailoring their persuasive strategies to the specific decision-making styles of key stakeholders, Hannes and Christine can effectively advocate for their proposal to engage younger prospects through a focused financial planning campaign. This understanding enables them to present their ideas more persuasively, ensuring they resonate with the distinct preferences and concerns of their audience. Constructing external persuasive messages. Hannes created 2 external persuasive messages, one for community financial workshops and another for the Hope Walkathon. One flyer for financial workshops. The less effective version used a "we" voice, lacked appreciation, and failed to specify tangible benefits, making it less engaging. The more effective flyer adopted a "you" voice, clearly outlined specific benefits, like saving $680 on a car loan, and used effective formatting for quick recognition. It included an appreciation statement that addressed potential skepticism and emphasized a compelling call to action, offering a cash reward for new memberships before a deadline. 2 email for the Hope Walkathon. The less effective email used guilt-inducing language and focused on national statistics, which could alienate the audience. The more effective version was positive, personalized, and emphasized local community ties, highlighting figures like Betty Williams to inspire participation. It balanced serious topics with hopeful messages, reinforcing that participants could make a difference. This email included a direct link for online registration and additional resources for more information. Composing mass sales messages. Mass sales messages target large audiences using formats like emails, online ads, or sales letters to promote products or services. These messages often have low success rates, but even modest improvements in effectiveness can yield significant revenue. A widely used model for crafting these messages is the AIDA approach: attention, interest, desire, and action. Attention. The message must capture attention quickly, often using lively or provocative elements. Interest. After initial engagement, the message builds interest by highlighting key attributes of the product or service. Desire. The message should encourage potential customers to think, "I want this product or service." Action. Finally, it must include a specific call to action that prompts the customer to initiate the purchasing process. The structure of mass sales messages should focus on a single, recognizable theme that can be grasped quickly, usually within seconds. A common theme is price, which is often highlighted early in the message. Other attributes may be mentioned, but generally downplayed until later in the content. Recent research supports the idea that a more direct approach increases effectiveness, especially among younger generations who prefer concise messages. Effective mass sales messages clearly state their central theme and call to action in the subject lines, making them immediately understandable. Hannes created 2 examples of mass sales messages for promoting auto loans at Better Horizons Credit Union. The first emphasized price, with clear logical appeals about how Better Horizons' loans are more economical compared to dealer financing. It featured a table for easy comparison and detailed benefits, focusing on logical reasoning. The second message used emotional appeals, addressing the anxiety car shoppers often face. It incorporated testimonials and a supportive tone, encouraging readers to feel confident while shopping. The message creatively used metaphorical language related to card games and driving. Beyond consumer-focused messages, the AIDA model can be adapted for various promotional purposes, such as recruiting recent college graduates. In less effective recruitment messages, Hannes provided generic benefits that lacked a clear theme. However, the more effective version emphasized specific employer programs that create advantages for new professionals, presenting tangible benefits through clear formatting. Reviewing your persuasive messages. Careful review of persuasive messages is crucial, given their potential high stakes. These messages can either enhance your professional opportunities and credibility or undermine them. Furthermore, as a representative of your organization, the way you communicate can significantly impact customer loyalty, revenue, and brand value. Get feedback and reread. Empathy. Always read your message from the perspective of your audience. Consider how they might react to your ideas, products, or services. Colleague input. Ask trusted colleagues to review your messages. Their feedback can reveal how your message might be perceived by resistant audiences. Seek colleagues who may reflect the same skepticism as your target audience for more relevant insights. Apply the FAIR test. To ensure that your persuasive messages are ethical and not manipulative, apply the FAIR test, which offers a framework to evaluate your messaging. Fairness. Assess whether the message is fair to all stakeholders. Authenticity. Ensure that your message is genuine and not designed to deceive. Integrity. Maintain integrity by representing your product or service truthfully. Respect. Show respect toward your audience's values and viewpoints. Manipulative tactics in persuasive messaging can backfire and damage your credibility. By adhering to the FAIR test and considering the experiences of seasoned professionals, you can develop messages that are both effective and ethically sound.
Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe to channel.